Hello friends, my name's Jessica. I am here to show you some paperback books and some picture books. And these are books that I am listing in my shop this week, prettyoldbooks.com, and you can find the link to all of these in the description. Okay, so I would like to just take a few minutes here to show you everything that I have that I added to the shop this week, and the theme was paperbacks and picture books. Why? Because that's what I had, okay? And they both start with the same letter, and so duh. Okay, so we're gonna start with no, we're not. We're gonna start with the paperbacks, okay? For no reason. First one is Manners for Women. This is a reprint of an old book that was written by somebody that was giving etiquette advice to women. So this was something that would have been written in the 1800s or early 1900s, maybe even earlier. I'm not quite sure what it is a reprint of, but this is a modern edition, but with the same original typeface and all that. So it's a facsimile edition, I guess is the way it would put it. The Wind in the Willows. Has there ever been a cozier book than The Wind in the Willows? No. Okay, so this is a paperback Dell Yearling book edition of The Wind in the Willows. It does have some illustrations. So let's see if we can find one or two. Who do we have? Mr. Badger. Okay, so there's that. It's from the 1980s. Here is The Stranger by Albert Camus. This, I think, is the first U.S. printing of this book. So the first time it was translated into English, and this is the edition. So this is from the late 1940s, I believe 1949. It has some smudging here and the name of the former owner, and there's the inside. So that was a nice little find. And then this book I decided to include because it just sounded interesting. It is called The Way Things Are by P.W. Bridgman, an individual assessment of the nature of experience and the world as we know it by the Nobel Prize winning physicist. So that's kind of like right up my alley. Like, it just sounded interesting, so I decided to list it. Then Madame Bovary. This is a nice edition with a purple spine. This is a Reinhardt edition. And that's kind of what it looks like inside. Okay, nice. Then we have these two little guys. Okay, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. So this is book 1 and book 2 in the series, and these are both special book fair editions from the 1980s. So a child would have gotten these at a school like Scholastic Book Fair or something. So those are super sweet. They're both in good condition and they are illustrated inside. Then Le Corbusier. This is Architecture and Form. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's French. So why don't you just say A instead of okay? A Pelican book. So this is about the famed architect, and it is wonderfully packed full of black and white photographs and illustrations of his work, which is really fun to look through. Here's his easy chair. Look at how handsome that is. And then this is one version of a house concept. Okay, there. And so yeah, this seemed really interesting and something that people, my type of people that shop with me would like. So that's that. Okay, we have a couple of paperback books that are in French, and this is one of them. So this is an edition of Pride and Prejudice. In French, Les Classiques de Poche, which means the classics in paperback. And this is what it looks like inside, okay? So these were obviously printed in Europe. And then the other ones I have in this same series is Les Mis, and this is in 2 volumes. Look at how thick that is. So this is Victor Hugo's book, and they are also in French and in pretty good condition. They don't appear to have been read. The spines are not cracked at all, okay? So if you're looking for some French language classics, well, why not, okay? Next, we have this set of 2 pink books, look, and these are both Brontes. So we have Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte and Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I don't know if you have a favorite Bronte, but if you do, I'd love to hear it. My favorite Bronte is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. Okay, we have a giant stack that I'm listing as a set. These are all mythology, religion, and philosophy books. Okay, so let's just go through them really quick. Edith Hamilton's Mythology, Reality, Man, and Existence, Essential Works of Existentialism. The Greek Way to Western Civilization, that's another Edith Hamilton. Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, a collection of Zen and pre-Zen writings. Great Dialogues of Plato. The Philosophy of Aristotle. The Confessions of St. Augustine, the Upanishads, and Fear and Trembling, and The Sickness Unto Death by Kierkegaard. How fun is that? So that's a whole giant stack, and they all have, you know, just a nice neutral color palette. All right, set of 3. These are Modern Library College Edition paperbacks. So we have Wordsworth's Selected Poetry, Moll Flanders by Daniel Defoe, and Joseph Andrews by Henry Fielding. So let's see. Orange, blue, orange. Then I have these that are all of the same series as well. These are printed by Vintage, and we have Willa Cather, Death Comes for the Archbishop. Some of these you can tell were remainders because they have a little red dot on them. F. Scott Fitzgerald's Flappers and Philosophers. This is a story collection. And then The Site of Paradise. H.G. Wells's The Time Machine. Oh, see, there's a remainder dot. And then Charles Dickens' Hard Times, which I have not read. There's 2 dots on that one. But you can see these are all by the same Vintage company. Some of them have the little flags here on the top. This one does not, but the others do. And then another set of 2 here. These, I think, are called the Classic Lines editions. So we have Wuthering Heights again, and then Great Expectations. So there's those 2. One of them has some writing in the beginning. Yeah, it was Great Expectations, so there's a name up here. And then, like so many books, the underlining is fierce in the first chapter, and then you never see it again. All right, those are all my paperbacks. So now we're going to move on to picture books, which is really picture books and storybooks. Very 1980s heavy. Okay, here's my pile. I'm just going to set some of these paperbacks aside so I have a little bit of room to wiggle. The first one is Rudyard Kipling's Just So Stories. So this is just a simple black edition with nice gold lettering on the spine. And these contain the original illustrations by Rudyard Kipling himself. Then we have Uncle Wiggily's Storybook in this fun little yellow edition. You will see a lot of Uncle Wiggily in this collection. And here's one random page with an illustration. Again, these are mostly all from the 1980s. This is Walt Disney's Storyland. So this is 55 favorite stories adapted from Walt Disney films. So there's something about Thanksgiving. Then we have Dumbo, The Flying Mouse, Donald the Explorer. Isn't that cute? I just love it so much. And then Tibor Gergely's Great Big Book of Bedtime Stories, 32 Favorite Tales. This one is so precious. Look at those illustrations. A Year in the City by Lucy Sprague Mitchell. Look at this. Isn't that precious? Let's see. We have a giant elephant here. Some construction. Birds. Oh, it's just so sweet. Okay, this one is really pretty too. Favorite Tales from Grimm. This is illustrated by Mercer Mayer. So this one has some tears on the dust jacket, as you can see. This one here too on the front. All right, so let's just open to a random page and give you a sense of the illustration style. Okay, isn't that pretty? Very lovely. So this is, again, fairy tales, Grimm's fairy tales. Yeah, so Snow White, Bremen Town Musicians, The Two Brothers, The Valiant Little Tailor, The Fisherman and His Wife, Hansel and Gretel, Snow White, Little Red Cap, and so on. Here are two books that I'm selling together, okay? This one has a little bit of pen on the top. Can you see that? Okay, A Treasury of Animal Stories and A Treasury of Bedtime Stories. They both have simple, similar illustration style. So this, you can see, has just a border in black and white. But then the next page, you have color. And there's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs again. And Little Red Riding Hood again. Here's the color illustration page from Little Red Riding Hood. And let's just peek inside this one too. Pegasus the Winged Horse. We have black and white. Whoa, and color. Look at that. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, this book is so cute. It's called 1000 Monsters. It's got some damage here, you can see. You open it up, and it is a flip book. So each segment has a description, but you can change the animal, and the description changes. So let me pick my animal. Here we go. This prickly pest thinks you're a monster and is right behind you. It's so cute. It's so precious. Okay, next. We have two of these giant golden books. We have Raggedy Ann, A Thank You, Please, and I Love You book, which is just about basic manners and politeness. And then Winnie the Pooh, A Tight Squeeze, in which, as you know, Winnie the Pooh eats too much honey and gets stuck in the hole. Then Uncle Wiggily's Happy Days. This is a picture book edition abridged by Platt and Monk, and it is wonderfully illustrated. So fun. Here's another Platt and Monk's Treasury of Stories for Children. A really pretty book. This book, this cover illustration is by Tasha Tudor. The interior illustrations are not, but lots of people love Tasha Tudor and would buy this book just because the cover is illustrated by her. This one has black and white, and as you can see, that one just has blue in it. But then we have a page like this that is just beautiful. It's a really lovely book. This is an interesting book. It is called Masquerade by Kit Williams, and it was about a real-life treasure hunt. So the book is a puzzle to encourage children to try to figure out where this treasure was buried. Somewhere in Britain, Jack Hare lost the moon's gift, the golden hair shown above, adorned with precious stones and faience, a rare compound used by the ancient Egyptians to grace the pharaohs. There's the back. Okay, and then this is a classic, Pyramid by David McCullough, which is all about how the Egyptians built the pyramids. Fascinating book, wonderful illustrations, a classic. Everybody's seen it. And wow, is this the last one? Okay, maybe it is. Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox. This is a 1980s edition, retold by Jane Shaw from the original. Here's our cast of characters. And then there's the inside, okay? All right, friends, that is all I have for paperbacks and picture books. I hope you enjoyed looking through these with me. And if you saw something that you're interested in, you can just click that link down below in the description, and it will take you right to the page where I have all of these for sale. And I will be back again with you shortly for another one of these shop update videos where we'll explore some other random collection of vintage and antique books. Until then, see you later.